Guys, honestly, what's your opinion on Zenith?
Why do you sound like you're dead? Like
I'm.
Zip.
Yeah,
I like this.
I bet you do.
I do.
Bro, Synth uh could probably be a member of the Pointless Five if it came out later.
I mean, it's hard to discredit Zenith since it plays throughout 90% of the song.
Here's the
Yeah,
thing
but
about Zinth. I like Zinth because it gives me lots of currency. Shoutouts to 90 billion Zinth Islands.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Zenith is OP for that reason.
yeah, but it really does like its sound is really cool, but it's also really cool point where like you could mute it and you wouldn't notice, especially currently.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because there's like 20 other monsters that like aren't Zen.
Listen, back when it was 15, Zenith was way better, but in its current state, Zenith kind of is way too quiet.
It's the
Who
worst
cares?
of the first
Stenson.
Stanzin.
Yeah.
Stenson.
It's got a cool
Oh,
design at
yeah.
least.
Yeah, that's oh yeah, design wise and animation. I really like like all like the little like spark blops that come out of his
Yeah.
butt. I mean, those are all cool. I like it. Oh yeah, also just putting it out there now. This was pre-decided. In most other videos, uh, Seth just randomly picks a monster like right as we start the video, so we don't have time to get our thoughts ready, and we just start right then and there, and then we just go with the flow, picking random monsters. But this time, due to like the monsters all coming out one at a time, we're going through the island chronologically.
Chronologically based on their teasers on Vine, which means
Yeah.
start with Zenith, and that means that the next monster,
Divine.
Next monster is the best monster on the island.
yeah, and one of the best monsters in the entire game.
Bro. Is
Did
that
you ever-
Flock?
I love Thlock, dude.
Imagine if Wublin Island had a castle and also Flock at the same time.
Listen, here's the thing. You know what happens when that happens? Fire Wastes Snyder happens.
Yeah. Bro, I love Thlock so much. It sounded
Dude,
so
Flock
good.
is so good. He literally is the perfect bass ever.
Like,
You can tell that like he ain't no like, bro, I made this in Fire Alpaca at the FL Studio. You can tell they didn't just make it sound in some program. You can literally hear them moving their fingers across the strings. It's a real instrument they got.
yeah.
I like that about it. That's
It-
like real and authentic.
It also it works really, really well. Like its design works so perfectly with its sound because like when you can hear them like sliding their finger around, like especially in the second track, the ding ding ding, but you don't even notice it as that because of the way its design sounds. That just sounds like that's the sound of its tongue, like going more out or going more in, like
Dude.
OP.
It's the perfect amount of bass too. It's not like disgustingly overpowering to the song. It's just the right amount. That's what I love about it.
Its
Yeah.
composition is also just really, really fun to sing along to.
Yeah, shout outs to bass monsters doing their job right and not like the freaking fan made monsters where it's like, oh bro, it's a bass monster, so we just gotta play 4 notes per chord. Congratulations, you're boring.
See, that's the
What do you
difference between a
mean?
bass monster
That's what
and
they
a
have
bass
to
in like
do.
song. If you're gonna have you can have a simplistic bass, but that's when you just make it the castle. If you want to have a complex bass that's like it's both like the bass background, but it's also one of the main melodies in the song, Thwok is the perfect way to go.
Hmm.
Like he kind of like owns the entire song basically, honestly too.
Yeah.
Another thing, like we we talked about how the design works perfectly with the sound. It also works perfect for the island itself because it's just the perfect like monster design. It's probably the one, honestly, one of at least.
It's just so good.
It's also really clever because the entire round is that there are all these creatures that were made by Wobox, and then Thwok is like a Frankenstein monster because that's another thing. It's like, oh, it's a monster that was created by scientists, and Wobox is the scientist in this situation.
And like the bolts on like I don't know, it's
Yeah,
like
and how
on
they
his
turn
like
the
head
bolts into
or
a tuning
yeah.
peg.
Yeah, that's
Dude, and my
really good.
favorite subtle detail about Thwok, thank you for reminding me this, Pommy. My favorite subtle detail about Thwok is whenever it changes note, the tuning peg always changes to the exact same note, and it's never inconsistent. Like, it always changes to the corresponding note, even in different, like,
How long
verses.
did you have to study that?
A very long time, but I love listening to Thwok, so I had time, don't worry. But they didn't
Makes
have to.
sense, and then it also like works perfectly because it's like, oh, bro, oh, how does he even work? Oh, how would he even change the pitch of the string? There's not even any strings on it, but not. He just that's the clearest way to play an instrument is to just constantly there's only one string. But Thwok does it, and he does it perfectly.
Yeah.
It's just like when you take a rubber band and like you pull it and then you go feral with it. That's
Yeah, you're just
literally
like,
what he's
bro, I'm
doing.
gonna. You're just going, bro, I'm gonna.
But with noise.
Yeah.
That was not. I don't know if you were doing anything, but you weren't audible.
Okay, but the point is, Thwok is like the best. I think everyone has their favorites and least favorites for Wublin. Like with the original 15, everyone appreciates the monsters. Everyone has their own personal favorite, but objectively, Thwok is the best Wublin, no questions asked.
Yeah. Yeah. Also I had like something like
Yeah. Alright, I think that's enough on Thwok. Let's talk about drum roll.
Bro, drum roll. Somebody give me a drum roll. And then drum roll. Bro, honestly, if Wublin Island's song didn't have any other percussionists and it was just drum roll, I'd be fine with it.
Honestly?
It's all the song needs. Like, not whacking on any of the other production stuff. But drum roll is really all it needs as bare bones. Because drum roll is just like the perfect drum kit monster, and it makes sense because that's his name.
Yeah. I always like how complex the drum rhythm is. Even though it's not like freaking Neil Peart level drum rhythms, it's still decently complex enough that it's a fun rhythm to follow, but a hard rhythm to replicate. And I like that in drums.
And that just pulling the band-aid off for anyone who's like putting it on a pedestal. Yes, Thwok and not Thwok, drum roll sound is no one really cares if something's a loop or not. So that's not gonna really affect how we feel. But I'm positive I didn't say that someone would point it out because it's like fun fact in the community.
Oh yeah. I remember when I'm pretty sure it was Sebas, someone found the Timpa drum loop on a program, and everyone was like, "What? Timpa's a loop? How could they do this?"
This
Yeah,
doesn't
like,
matter. If it
everyone's like-
sounds good, yeah, if it sounds good in the song, it sounds good in the song. I don't care.
Yeah,
yeah, and everyone got mad for it, but the thing is, fan-made islands use loops all the time, yet no one complains about that because oh, they're just one person, so let's just let it pass. And it's like the dumbest thing.
yeah.
Okay, something about drumroll. Okay, since we're going through it chronologically, like with only the first five, it doesn't really play into much as effect. But over time, drumroll just got better and better, especially when they added the new outro verse. At the time ended with Thwok stopping playing and just like a verse with no one playing at all. It's like not no one playing, but like Zinth is playing, Poke is playing. it's the Pokeverse, but just without Thwack or Drumroll. I think happens is, but then eventually they added a verse after that where Thwack's second track comes back, and then Drumroll's first track comes back, the one with the crash symbol at the start, and instead of it playing the second one again, it just plays the first one twice, and the crash happening twice in that verse, especially with Thwack, it changes the entire song. It's just so satisfying and really makes it feel like a climactic ending. And that he's always gonna be top tier just for those two simple crashes in the outro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, speaking of Poke though,
Fuck. Fuck. Fuck.
Poke kind of quirky though.
dude, Poke.
Talk
Lis-
about perfect monsters.
listen.
Perfect.
You could gush about Poke for hours on so many different aspects. It's not even funny.
It is
It's
literally
kind of funny.
When the first 5 Wublins came out, every teams, and from the second it was revealed, I was Team Poke.
Yo, I was Team Poke too.
Same. That was my first Wublin I ever woke up.
Why do you have the cool Wublins being your first one woken up while mine was like Zinth or like
No,
something?
bro, mine was Poke, and then immediately after that, it was Astropod.
Okay, here's the thing.
Anyways, Poke.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we all said, bro, we couldn't gush out about Poke, so why don't we?
Alright, I love Poke's everything. I love its sound and how frantic and complex it is. I love its design and how frantic and complex it is.
This is like the weirdest thing to say, but I like its sense of urgency and stress.
Yeah.
Like it's like having a panic attack, and it's like, oh god, what do I do?
Just, it's the way it frantically stalks and taps the keys with long legs to create a freaking organ sound is so inspired, it's not even funny.
Like, it's all of its like fingertip nail things are just like they're so, the design is really satisfying, and like the big feathers on the back are cool, and the mask especially is really cool. Like, they put a plague doctor as a monster in the game. Like,
Yeah.
how can you go wrong with a plague doctor besides being aromatase?
Not only that, but the way they wrote the organ is how you're traditionally supposed to write organs, where you have the main frantic melody that doesn't change. It's the same melody for all 4 bars, but it's just the chord in the background that changes to recontextualize that basic melody. And it's so good.
Bro. I fucking love Poke, bro. I love him so much. He's so good.
If you love him so much, just marry him.
I will. I fucking will.
Honestly, at this point in the MSM community's lifetime, I'm pretty sure people are just tired of hearing this because literally everyone gushes about Poke.
Yeah,
There's no reason not
Poke-
to.
yeah. Poke is like, he's overrated, but he's not at the same time.
Yeah.
He's overrated for a good reason.
Yeah. I
He
just
deserves.
We're
it's
talking about this amazing monster with all his amazing qualities, and then we move on.
Yeah, I was
Bro.
about to say it's so juxtaposing how we'd go from Poke to Brump. Alright, you know what? Actually, I'm not gonna be so hard on Brump because Brump is kind of really cool. I like Brump a lot.
Brump is the face of Wublin Island. When you think Wublin, you don't think Wublin, you think Brump. Everyone thinks Brump. If you don't think Brump, you're not an MSM fan. It's Brump.
It's
Yeah, he's Wake Up the Wublins.
It's so simple, but just a deep, guttural, raspy wake up the Wublins is just really good on this island.
Its design
it's
is
like-
also really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just
Using
kinda-
corn eggs.
yeah.
What were you
I
gonna
was
say, Tom?
saying, it kind of goes to show that like even like the simplest of things, like is just good.
Yeah.
Cause Brum, if you look at it, literally just nothing, but it really is something.
Yeah. It's just green frog saying what you need to do. It's literally a tutorial monster. It's telling you how to play the game.
Oh wow.
Way better than Kana
For a
does.
tutorial. He's doing his job of being the
Bro,
freaking
what if the
tutorial
reason
voice.
he says wake up the Wublins is because the spirit of tutorial Furcorn lives on inside of him?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! It all makes sense why he takes fruit.
2017 me would definitely make a theory like that, and I hate that.
Dude, I'm headcanon that. That's my headcanon now for Brump.
He's a tutorial for corn.
The thing, he's a tutorial, and he's an OP tutorial too, because like his design, everything about Brump perfectly encapsulates what Wublin Island is. It's just, bro, wake up the Wublins, because that's what you gotta do. And his design is like the only design on Wublin Island which literally perfectly in every way works with what eggs he has.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
got the.
just fur corn.
Frogs and furcorns, and it's exactly what he is.
He's
He's a frog with
gross.
furcorns.
I mean, he looks perfect for a Wublin as well. Because he's just this gross, grody frog fucking thing.
He's the last of the first 5 to be revealed, and for good reason. He's like that's when people knew everything was getting serious, when they were revealed Brump. And
Kinda
Brump
like-
is like, yeah. What are you saying?
Kind of like the hype. Like, people are like, at first. Not really. But, like, that kind of, like, dragged people into being more interested in the Wublin.
Yeah. I remember when Wublin Island's trailer first came out and they showed Brump and people were like, what the this is disgusting!
I wish I was
The first
around.
thing you hear in the
People
trailer,
love
you
it.
just hear electricity, and then
Dude, I forgot how hype the first Wublin Island trailer was. Because it was just the first verse, them sporadically changing the camera between Thwack, Drumwell, and Brump. And then it like paused and then played Poke and Screamoo exclusively, I'm pretty sure. And then they
no,
showed
it just played that verse.
whatever. They showed Poke though, and that's when they showed Poke and they played that verse, that's when I knew that Wublin Island was something different and that it was one of my favorite islands. And then when the game came out, it was only those 5, and people were really confused because people were stupid back then.
Yeah, where's fur corn?
People were more so kind of annoyed because, like, if you think about it, they literally revealed everything. They showed all the designs and all the sounds and all the animations, and then that's all we got, and we didn't get any other surprises that were kept a secret.
Dude, I remember Wublin Island came out and they released a tutorial, and I know I'm not the only one that did this because all of the comments on the video said it, but in the tutorial they used the full song, so I would just listen to the background of the tutorial for hours because I loved the song so much. And I know Matt would be talking over it, and I just didn't care.
That's just like the foreshadowing of what people do nowadays with the Pizzicato monster on Cloud Island.
Yeah. Yeah, and then after they released the original 5, the next monster they added was Zuker, and everyone was like, "Oh, okay."
I
remember
want you to
everyone
know,
was like,
that was the
freaking-
perfect segue.
Thanks.
With Zuker, everyone was like, "Bro, what?" Because first of all, it came out months after Wublin Island came out, and people like were not sure how they were gonna release any other Wublins after the first 5. Because this is like one of the first times this kind of stuff happened.
Yeah.
Sure, what the game plan was gonna be. So but then they released Zuker, and then after back then people were stupid because in the loading screen in the bottom corner they showed Zuker like his head, and then no one really noticed. He came out, and then now he's out, so let's discuss him. And honestly, slightly underwhelming. to be honest.
At least he was the first monster that really filled out that second verse, which is kind of supposed to be Zucker's verse.
Yeah.
And I think if they were going to do a kazoo monster, I'm pretty sure this was the best way they were going to be able to do it.
That's true.
I gotta say, I
Yeah,
feel so
that's
bad
true.
for Zucker because now with the full Wublin Island, you can't even hear Zucker ever. He's in the same spot as Zinth, you just can't hear him.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's probably for the better because he's great, but also like he doesn't really work that well as a main melody for that verse.
Well, that's just because he's a
Not like he was
kazoo.
supposed to be.
Yeah, that's true. He's way too quiet because there's other stuff that's way too loud. But good background.
There's not really a lot to say on Zucker since he's a very basic,
His
minimalistic
design
monster.
is really cool. His
Oh, I
design
love
is
his
really
design.
they
Can
like
you, can you-
I like how in the teaser for Zucker, they alluded to the fact that he was a duck because they say if it looks like a wublin and sounds like a wublin, and I was like, it's funny because ducks and he's a duck. That's funny.
Duck.
Okay, you know something else that's great about Zucker's design?
What?
What?
Now, the obvious thing to do with Zucker is to just be like, "Oh, bro, his mouth is the kazoo, and then he has the whole opening, like as a nose thing on top of the kazoo." But they were like, "Nah, bro, we're gonna make it a vertical kazoo, so the whole opening for the kazoo is the top of his head, and like the little, like the smaller, like whole thing is just on the side of his head, which means you'd blow into his feet."
Ah.
Dude.
Where's you would say that?
Yeah, you know whose feet you can't blow into though?
Who?
It's Screamoo, because he's too fat,
Yeah, got him.
too
Screaming.
flubber
Dang.
flabby.
Emu more like best vocal on the island.
One of the best vocals. There's some competition for that.
I don't think so.
They got okay, here's the thing. His competition is not competition compared to Screamo, because Screamo takes the cake
All
and
right,
eats
Yes,
it.
even Screaming or watching.
all right.
Screamo's blood.
Yeah, dude, Screamoo is really cool. I like him a lot.
Screaming is so good, bro. I think it was now the time to shout out to Scream00 MSM.
That person's dead, dude. He doesn't exist anymore.
I'm crying.
Screamo is OP because he's got that whole dual voice thing going on.
I
Bro.
like how they mix the dual voice, and they made it purposefully sound a little weary and awkward, and it works perfectly for the monster because it's deaf. But it still works perfectly in the song. It's just the timbre that makes it have a unique inflection on it.
Yeah, like here's the thing. Like basically what they did with Screamo is make it like a ripoff of Furcorn and Yostrich, but also he's 10 times better than both of them combined.
I like Screamoo because for the dumbest reason, but when I first heard their name, I was like, oh, Scream You. Because he's screaming.
Screaming at you.
But no, Screamoo. Scream You. You.
It's a screaming emu.
Except wherein his design is the emu.
He's got a long neck.
Yeah, dude.
It's an emu.
Okay, something that's satisfying about Screamo is his Adam's apple.
Oh,
I want to
dude.
stomp on it.
That reminds me. Screamoo's design is really funny.
It's just Squidward, disgusting, branch, naked, disgusting.
Yeah.
Screamo's design really shouldn't work on paper. It's like, bro, here's the thing. He's got 3 legs, but he doesn't have legs. He only has feet, and then he's got like this big body that's the shape of a marshmallow. But then it just has a random, really thin neck that just goes in a zigzag, and that's where his head is. And he's all white, except he has random splashes of paint on him. And then also he has branches on the back that act like wings with random banners on them.
Bro, Screamo is the ancestor of Omni Chungus.
Oh, you're right.
Screamo, Screamo's, but the idea behind Screamo's design is literally the definition of over design. Yet they make it work perfectly, and it's not over designed at all. And it just really proves that it's about execution, not idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Composition wise as well, I just really like how Screamo plays in the song. I think it's really cool that he plays a little after Poke, even though they share the same background melody. I really think that's really something that's neat.
He gives that part of the song when he came out, he gave it a new flavor, which I think really is what makes a monster amazing, is when it's added and it absolutely changes the verse that it's in.
Didn't Screamo also like introduce the last verse before they took it out with Dermot?
Uh, okay. What happened was, wait, okay, I got it. No, Screamo added the verse, and then I think it was either Screamo or Timpa who added the verse. Then they removed it with Dermot, and then I think they added it back with Waja.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think it was Screamo then who added it.
So if that's the case, Screamo also introduced the OP ending verse with Thwok
It's
coming
the best,
back.
it's the best verse. It's definitely 100% in my opinion the best verse of the song. If it's the original 15, because it's not overcrowded.
Alright. So after Screamo, they released Timba, who is also a really cool monster.
Bro.
I think it was a smart decision on their end by having the drum kit monster, but using a snare drum in that monster so sparingly, only using it really twice, so that they could make a full snare monster.
Yeah.
The best part about when Timpa came out is like one of the things that should not work on paper is two complete like drumming monsters playing at the same time. But for some reason they're like, nah, bro, we gotta make it work.
I guess because it's like two different kind of styles. Not really, but like they don't sound like the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's to the point where even when drumroll plays the snare in his loop, it doesn't sound anything like Timpa's.
And something else that's OP about Timpa is uh the like he's just literally everything you could do with a snare. Like he's got like basic snaring, and then he's got that really cool roll that he does, and then afterwards he ends it with like doing that rim shot, and it's also really cool.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
Tempo is really important in the history of Wublin Island because it really added a lot of enthusiasm and rhythm to the verses it played in that didn't exist prior simply because they were the verses that drumroll just didn't play in.
Yeah, it added, yeah, like the song. Everyone could tell the song was all like upbeat, jazzy, and you could dance to it. But like at the time, like when it was only the first 7, the song was really lifeless. But then Timpa came in and sparked excitement like a wublin into the song.
Just like a Wublin.
Like a
Yeah.
Dude, alright, another thing I love about Timpa is that its design is full of personality. Because when you wake it up, it winks at you, and then it does a little hop. No, it does the wink while doing a little hop, and then when you put it to sleep, it's not actually sleeping, and it's like panning around. And in the bio, it says that it's kind of a conductor of sorts. I'm pretty sure it's just
He's
a friend.
He's out
It's
here.
this. I love its design and its colors because it's just like metallic and like with the red all over and with the black and red, it also like almost makes it seem like it's magma peeking out, even though it's not.
They
And
made
then like, it, oh, its idea is okay. I'm just gonna point it out that its name is kind of like it's got a good name, but also like before it came out, everyone thought it was Timpa because Timpani. But like so like you can see like the issue with its name on paper, but it works out anyways. But with design, it's super clever because it's literally just bro. He's got two giant eardrums and he just drums them so he can't hear anything. All he does is drum. Oh, I want to drum.
I think that Timpa used to be my favorite everything wise because back then I really didn't care about like the sound or anything. I was just like, cool design.
Dude,
I like it.
I love how they made a red and black monster with a mohawk and a molten aesthetic, not edgy.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a mouth.
Yeah. I love the whole mask thing it's got going for it, and it really helps. Although, I gotta be honest, I don't think a semicircle horn would make or a cymbal sound when you strike it.
Not a cymbal sound. It's a rim shot.
Oh. Well then, I was wrong. And also, I'm a fool.
Yeah, because it's like he's like because what it is, it's like the rim of a snare. That's like it's half of the rim of a snare, and then he does a rim shot on it, which is why I love it because it's so cleverly put together.
Oh, I get it now. I get it. How did I not see that?
OP.
Bro, speaking of OP, the next monster they released is like one of the best executed atonal monsters.
Bro, I'm getting tired of all this OP stuff because it's like, bro, this thing's OP, bro, this thing's OP, and it's like, oh my god, how did
Now
they
we-
ruin this?
Now we
In
gotta
a
talk
way,
about
they're all
Dermot.
OP, but yeah, but like in a way, they're all OP. But when they're put together,
He's
some
a-
things just eh.
Listen, here's the thing, Ryan. We get to go see go like only 4 more super OP monsters, and then it's like not as OP.
And then
Well,
a
let's-
few more after that, it's like
Dude, Dermot
You
is
know?
so good.
Bro,
I
Dermot
like
is
Dermot because of the one thing that Diane said like in 2016, and everyone's like, "Oh my god,
What?
that's so cool!" God Dermot.
God, Dermot.
And that was like the funniest thing in the community for like a few years. And
Knowing Diane, she definitely didn't say that. She would probably say, "Gosh, Dermot."
Yeah, I was
Oh,
about
really?
to say.
Oh, she probably did say gosh Dermot.
Whoever says "gosh," she says "gosh" because she is wanting to appeal as to many audiences as possible, and she doesn't want to exclude anyone based on religious beliefs. Not talking about this isn't the Your Singing Monsters Diane edition. That's next week. We're talking about Dermot.
Dude,
Dang it!
I remember Dermot when it was first released. I really liked it, but I also didn't like it because its design was disgusting.
Bro,
This
that's
I
what I
like
love
his
about it.
design.
I love its design so
It's
much.
just
There's
a
something about
frog
it
covered
just
in
like
warts.
so disgusting. Yet it's so adorable, and I love it.
It's because it's disgusting and it's covered in warts and mushrooms and fungi and stuff, and it's gross and gangly, but it's still
I-
so peppy and happy.
I bet
Oh
it
my
just
god.
like takes
I
like a fungus off of its arm, and then it goes up to someone and just says, "Have a fungus.
Have a fungus.
Have a fungus."
Here's the thing, Seth, you just made me realize Dermot is my new favorite monster because he literally is just full body ganglion cyst. Okay,
Dude,
I'm not-
this thing-
okay, what were you saying? What was the thing?
Dermot, his like concept and how it's executed is so amazing, even down to the name, because his name is Dermot because he has dermatitis and he's a frog, so it's a pun on Kermit.
Yeah, it's literally perfect in every way. Now, okay, something else I like about Dermot is like whenever the second I saw it, for me, his fingers and toes just looked like you could just pull them and they'd like flip out really satisfyingly. And it's like, bro,
Guys,
Wait,
What?
this whole time we have only mentioned its design. We haven't even talked about how good it is in the song yet.
okay,
who cares? We
we'll
kind
get
of
to the
did
point
it.
when we talk about the song. Right now, we're talking about how amazing his design is, and then okay, bro, they do a good job of making him look all like he looks. They make him like, and then if you think about it in general, he's not that big, but they really make him look all big and imposing, especially in his statue. He was like the biggest statue when he came out, I think.
Yeah. And it's very minor, but I dig the double slit eye. Like
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got two slit pupils and it's really cool.
Okay, what the best thing about Dermot, like not the best thing, but one of the best things, his idol animation is so good. He's just jamming out to the song.
Yeah.
Bro, Dermot's animation in general is really amazing.
Especially
can't
with
eat
how
Dermot.
fast paced its vocal is.
Bro, Dermot is one of the most influential monsters into the mood of the song because he literally is the definition of happy, funky, bro, this is upbeat, amazing.
Just the bum
He
bum bum
like-
ba-dum,
It's
bum
like
bum
most
bum
other
bum
monsters are
bum
just like
ba-dum.
sitting there, like, yeah, we're here, and Thoughts like messing with his tongue. But when they're not playing, Dermot's like he's not playing. He's like, bro, y'all are doing great. I'm jamming out right now. And his entire animation is like he's dancing the entire time. He doesn't look like he should be dancing because he's a big, disgusting, gross monster that at any moment could just pop full of pus on you. But who cares? Because he's jamming out.
He has AIDS.
Dude, I love Dermot so much. Oh my god.
He's so good.
Then since Seth wants it so bad, let's talk about his sound, which honestly,
Dude, I wish that was Dermot's sound, bro.
okay, I apologize for that, but okay, Dermot has okay. Screamo is objectively the best vocal in my opinion, but Dermot is 100% my favorite vocal on the island.
Yeah.
Amazing. You can't recreate Dermot. Like you listen. Here's the thing. You need it works even better because like Dermot's voice is all raspy, but also like mucusy, and like in order to make that a voice, you need to have as much mucus in the back of your throat as Dermot does.
I don't think that's possible.
Exactly, which is why no one can recreate his amazing voice.
His voice is like when you have a cold, but like all the mucus is trapped in your voice. And in your voice? No, in your throat. And you're just coughing. It's a really disgusting mucusy cough. But
Yeah.
somehow you make it sound good because you're Dermot. Dermot is sick. Get him some medicine.
No, here's the thing. I think that's just Dermot's entire thing. Listen. Here's the thing. Dermot is so sick constantly that he just lives the sick life now, and he went from being sick to being sick.
He's
Alright,
so
better.
sick.
He's so sick, he's sick. Now imagine this cursed thought. Imagine Dermot, but without the warts and mushrooms.
He'd be
He's
a lot
clean.
thinner.
He'd be thinner and glossier. That's gross.
Alright. Dermot in the song, one of the things I love about it is how it kind of validated the reason for the other verses existing. Because it was just kind of repetitive, the song before Dermot came out, and then after it came out, it was like, holy moly, these verses are actually cool now.
Oh,
He's the
and it's
perfect-
so OP. He's so OP.
Yeah, and they somehow made two monsters that I'm pretty sure both of them don't have tone in their voice, Dermot and Brump, and they're both
Maybe.
frog, and they both duet really well together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that verse is their verse. It's just them like. If listen, here's the thing: if you don't like design your island so Dermot's on one side and Bronx on the other side, you're a monster. Jam out together, and they're like, bro, it's duets time.
Oh my god, I can't handle this much OP after Dermot was Giger.
Oh my god.
My favorite monster on the island.
Dude,
Its sound is broken. It's
dude,
OP.
Giger is so broken.
Here is anti-Dermot though, cause like Dermot's all like, bro, I'm jamming out, and Giger is all like, bro, it's 5 o'clock. I want to go back to bed, and then he's like, he's really waiting to sign out because he's like, bro, he just like. I remember when Giger came out, everyone would make depression jokes about him because he just looks depressed.
Yeah.
Bro, he just looks like a Dr. Seuss creation.
Yeah, there's
No.
3 jokes that constantly were made. Giger's depressed, Giger's Dr. Seuss, and Giger is mashed potatoes and corn.
Never made that joke in my life.
I
Giger is
love the
wholesome
mashed potatoes.
tummy.
Giger's especially good because his his name is just a pun on like a geyser counter, and then like ghee, which is butter. So he's just radioactive butter.
Dude, my favorite, I love Giger when they were making the song and they were like, "Hey, what kind of sax should we have on the island?" And then he was just like, "Yes."
Yes. He just
Why
does
hold
it.
back?
Yeah.
My favorite thing about Giger is its animation when it plays its first track and it does the like kind of like split off thing, because that's when he starts jumping and he's excited, but then he's like, wait, I can't be excited, and then he just kind of stops, look at the camera, and then he's like, all right, let me just go back to counting.
Yeah.
And he does that part where he just puts his arm up and puts one finger up.
Yeah, he's counting the beats, bro.
Dude, it's got so much personality in the animation.
It really shouldn't. Look at its sprite sheet. That thing is fucking nothing.
I
And
like
then
his gross
and then
long
he-
neck.
yeah, and then he's got his face huggers, because that's what it's called.
Yeah,
Face
the
huggers.
freaking giant mandibles. I thought they were arms for the longest time.
And they're like they are. You know, that's just again. It really adds to like the radioactive. I was like, it's like he grew. It's like he has arms, but they also like grew and became his mandibles at the same time.
It's such a whack design, but it works so well.
Creative.
Its sound is the perfect melody, as well as the perfect background noise in the other verse. He does everything.
Yeah, Giger does it all.
Literally, when the Wublin Island trailer came out, I was waiting for them to release the melody of the opening, and when they finally released it, I was so happy.
Something else, like how do you even do that to the song? The opening verse for so long, it was like Wublin, Bach and Brump. It was just their verse. And then Giger was like, okay, move over, boys. It's time for me to take a seat. And he just does it so perfectly. It's just like the perfect melody for the opening. And just, you just really get that feel for the, like, you can tell what idea they had for the song, and they just do it perfectly. It's just like electro jazz.
Yeah, electro swing jazz fusion.
Exactly. And he's the perfect monster to do that.
And that's only in the first verse. In the second verse, when it plays with Zucker, Giger and Zucker, like, surprisingly work pretty well together. I think it has to do with the fact that Giger lets Zucker get its full first part out, and then it starts playing, and then they kind of play together near the end.
Yeah. That's what Giger does in general. He's just the big guy, but he like lets the little guy under his wing because he's just like, bro, I'm gonna be the main melody, but also my main melody is literally going to just be a complex version of Thwock's melody, and you're like, bro, what?
Yes! Ah, it's so good.
Also, okay, I something that I said a lot is that like my favorite thing is when something can work in any verse of the song, and Giger is a perfect example of that. I don't know if you've heard it before, but Giger and Poke, when they duet together, for like the Giger's first track and Poke, they sound amazing.
Never heard that before.
I got it later on, but like Giger is probably could sound amazing with any monster duetting with him.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, bro, I just realized after Giger is like the most overhyped Wublin of all time,
Most important Wublin, honestly,
and
because
yeah,
like
it's still good.
it's how they ended it's like the trailer came out and then it's ended with wadu 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 wadu.
Yeah, we're talking
So
about wobbling legs.
Wublin, no,
Moving legs.
Wobbling legs today.
Waja is another monster that has a fuck ton of personality.
He's literally
And
he's dramatic as hell.
Yeah, his animation is so good, especially when it plays.
Worst part is its design, like in general, is the most fucking ugly thing ever. Its face is the worst. It has just
He's
it's 90% leg, but it's so
got
good.
5 o'clock shadow under bite. But it still works because of the whole crooning feather thing.
Alright, we were talking about Dermot, how it sounded the most impossible thing to replicate, but Waja, literally, I've seen 0 good Waji impressions in the community ever. This monster's impossible.
Oh, dude,
But
you
what?
want to talk about monsters that changed the feel of verses?
Yeah. 'Cause
Waji comes
melody.
in, just recontextualizes everything.
Well, yeah, because he took over melody and it worked over really well.
yeah,
It was meant to be like that.
which is OP.
Until a certain shit in the ground threw it out of existence.
Oh, dude, I didn't even notice how they always play together.
Yeah, that's why they fucking. Waja. I remember people, it was so divided in the community whether Waji was good or if Waji was really fucking bad. Because it was like, oh, bro, I love Waji. He's so cool. And then other ones were like, it sounds annoying. It's ugly and I
It
hate it.
ruined the song.
It's so. And I'm
When
like,
it
no.
when it came out, I definitely saw at least 4 different comments saying that Waji ruined the song.
Oh, do you know something else about Waja is like design wise anti-Dermot because Dermot wait because wait no I don't know okay never mind. Waja's OP because he's like if he's like just like looks big and all, but also if you he's literally just a nugget if he doesn't have his giant limbs and his giant feathers to make his body look big. But they just really work, bro. But I remember people were pissed when he came out though because people were like, "Bro, he should be a 2x2" because there was no 2x2 Wublins, and then he wasn't.
Bro, I don't know what you're talking about. Zinth and Thwok are 2x2.
Yeah, and then another after that.
Oh, after YJ is like the most low key Wublin, but still very useful.
Yeah, Waja is the peak of the island, and this is the island. See, what was about here's what's supposed to happen with Wublin. You get the first 5; they're just like into your heart. They instill all the core of what Wublin Island is, and they add more and more things to the song, getting better and better in quality. And it all peaks at Waja, the important monster from the trailer, and then it's also like, okay, now we're gonna slow down with these Wublins, and then it'll all lead into Wubbox.
Yep.
Because then they're slowing down. They're like, bro, we got to go back to the hype from before. But we'll get to that later because we're just getting to the start of the slowdown, And who else would be good at doing it? Then
Creepiest school.
yeah.
First off, it took me forever to figure out how to pronounce this thing's name.
How do you pronounce it? Creepuscule? Creepy school?
Creepy
It's
school.
cool.
Creepy school?
Crepuscule.
Creepuscule.
It's technically
Creep-
like creepy school.
Creepuscule. I can't say it now. I used to know how to say it.
Crepuscule.
Yes.
Crepuscule.
Because it's based off of the
Crepuscule.
the
That's how
French
you say
word
it.
for midnight.
Yeah. Second thing to say about creepy school, it took me literally far too long to like it because its design is the most disgusting, malformed, like hideous, gross,
like
disgusting,
it.
disgusting
I love
thing.
Crepuscule's design. He just slams his broken
Crepuscule
jaw.
reminds me of those images of like the normal things, but they're edited to like have like the earrings and like the lips and the eyelashes.
remember-
That just really
I
sends me.
showed Creepy School to my brother, and he said it was without question the most hideous thing he has ever seen.
It's so good.
Racist.
School is
This-
amazing though. Like everything, like its design is, it's like for its design, it's just bro, uh, it's got warts all over its bottom body, and its body is in a bowl shape, and then it's got fingers coming out of its body, and only 4 fingers, and then it's got a big neck with a giant lower jaw and a tiny upper jaw, and then it just slams its head onto the plate.
The way it jitters when it's playing the closed hi-hat, and it's like when it's chomping down in the Dermot verse, it's just the way it twitches and violently thwacks its body around just makes me uncomfortable.
Bro, the way Crepuscule makes it sound is the most disgusting thing ever. Because you either have it clicking its fingernails, slamming his face into a drum, or he just clomps his lower jaw onto his head to make the other sound.
Yeah, and then the person who designed it was like, you know what, we're gonna put a wig on this because it's a beautiful lady.
That's the best part is that
Wig.
like it's like, bro, that hair's out of place, and the bio's like, yeah, you're right, it is out of place because it's not real hair. It just got it. Just like, bro, I want hair. It just got hair.
Creepy skill is the kind of
today I will
body
grow hair.
positivity I want.
Shout out to the
Okay,
hardest
you know-
Wublins wake up.
Oh.
Seriously?
Yeah, Crepuscule's the hardest.
Here's like, Crepuscule is OP because it's the only Wublin that plays the entire song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He plays
Oh.
forever.
And it plays 3 different instruments, technically.
And they all
It
do the
plays
same
the
rhythm.
Crepuscule.
That's not true. The kick drum is slightly different because instead of going tum 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 tum, it goes tum 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 tum.
Oh wow, bro.
House, keep up the house. Keep
House.
up the
Yeah, it's pay tum tum taos.
Okay, here's the thing though. The best part is like when it's playing it's okay because its first track is tapping the fingernails, and then that is jamming out there, and then its second track is it like clamping its jaw, and that thing is like it's like people are like, oh yeah, it's disturbing because it's just like twitching its fingers, and then you realize literally that's the only body part that it can like move around to dance with. So that's just it dancing.
Yeah.
Aww. Baby.
Alright, low key, when it's playing, it's like, I'm pretty sure it's either a ride cymbal or something, but the opening one, when it's
That's a
tapping its
ride.
fingers.
Yeah,
Alright,
right.
the ride cymbal is low key really, really OP.
Crepuscule's
yeah.
OP.
It's simply OP.
It's so simple, but it's so effective.
Just it's the right way to fill dead air while also being significant without not taking up too many spaces.
Yeah. Yo, I just realized
But
Creepy School and the next woman have a lot of in common in that regard.
shoot, who's next? Oh, and then the one right after the next one also has something in common.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've said everything I have to say about Creepy School.
Yeah, we've said a lot about
Which means that it's time to talk about eyes, ears, nose, toes.
Eyes, ears, nose, toes.
Eyes, ears,
It's
nose,
the most
toes.
overrated Wublin. That's not the Pointless Five, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think it's overrated because who talks about Blipsqueak? Like people like Blipsqueak. It's not really overrated. It's just people don't really criticize it because people don't really talk about the point at the first 15 that much.
I'm
Lipsqueak?
gonna.
But they
Lipsqueak is a Wublin that I'll always have a soft spot for simply because I like robots and I think they did a robot Wublin really, really well. And I like its
Well,
pink leg warmers.
yeah, I do too. I feel like the reason why people don't really go too hard on Blipsqueak is because it's a vocal. And people feel like, oh, it's a vocal. I have no right to judge with it because I cannot sing or something like that.
But it's not even a like pitched vocal.
Yeah, I know. But I remember
bitch.
a while ago someone making that claim, so.
You say it's not a pitched vocal, but neither is Dermot, Ryan.
But here's the thing.
Dermot's
That's not the
cool,
point.
though.
It's not like it being a
Take it
vocal
back!
is like, oh, I can't criticize it because it's a vocal and I can't do vocals. The point is that you can't criticize Dermot because Dermot's good. You can criticize Blipsqueak because it's likey nothing.
Yeah, but it's kind of designed to. Because it's a monster saying different body parts. If it was something, it'd be really whack and kind of annoying and kind of bad. I think it's perfect at what it does, which is it's not you're not supposed to hear what it says, you're just supposed to hear it. Cuz like in the trailer, when the trailer first came out, you could hear it, but you couldn't hear what it was saying and people wondered what it was saying. And they were curious because they liked the voice and the voice added to the song.
Every time I think of Blipsqueak trailer, I just think of when people were like, bro, it should have been the trailer where it says, yeah, eyes. God, Blipsqueak is so fucking awkward because it's like, bro, here's this fucking it's a robot with like jarhead eyes, disgusting, and yet its sound is the most just like nonchalant, like text to speech, eyes, ears, nose, toes. It's so like oddly creepy, but it works way.
Yeah.
And I think the best part about it is that like canonically, the reason it says eyes, ears, nose, toes is because Webbox was working on Blipstick in its workshop, and Webbox was like just playing a radio, and it was like, oh, bro, they said words, I want to say words too. He's like, oh, okay, and then eyes, ears, nose, toes.
Yeah, and Webbox gave it all the parts so that it could say it.
Here's the thing, though. I like what my head canon is that like it already had those parts, and the reason that it says the parts is because Wabox was listening to nursery rhymes. Like Wabox just in his workshop, and he's there like with his screwdriver building Blipsqueak, and then he's just jamming out to head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
Another thing I love about Blipsqueak, not much its sound, because there's not a lot to say about its sound, but in its animation, I love how it just moves. Because it never moves organically, which is something that's surprisingly not easy to do. Because it's easy to make something look stiff while animated, but it's hard to make something look robotic, if that makes sense.
I mean, yeah. Also, you know what's one thing I just noticed?
What?
Blipsqueak's exit needs is genius because it needs toe jammers because of toes. It needs Deej because ears. It needs Cybop because eyes. And then T-Rox, I guess, is just robot. And then Pom Pom is the pink. Nothing on nose. I mean, nothing
Nah.
on nose, but
Doesn't T-Rox in the bio say it nibbles toes?
I don't know. That's weird though.
No, I'm pretty sure in
He
T-Rox's
doesn't
bio...
no, he does not nibble toes. T-Rex does not nibble toes. Get that out of your head. What it says is, bro, watch out. Because if T-Rex steps on your toes, you're losing because they're all steel and metal and they'll cut your toes off.
I'm pretty sure they said it would bite him.
No, it did not. It said your toes were gonna cut. Listen.
I'm looking it up.
Look it up. I'm the MSM stand here, not you. It says that, bro, watch out. If he steps on your toes, you're losing them. It does not say, bro, T-Rex loves to succulently suckle your toes.
That's not what I was saying.
Discourse in the MSM fandom.
It doesn't say either. It does not say either. It just says monsters with toes should steer clear from T-Rex.
Yeah, because
And then you insinuate.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. It's like, bro, watch out for T-Rex, because if you got toes. Because last time I checked, if you just have a sharpened metal thing drop on your toes and it's stomping it, because that's what T-Rex does. It's literally called rock stomp in the code. It's like, bro, you shouldn't stomp, because if you stomp on my toes, I'm losing them.
Yeah, but I don't think about stomping when I think of T-Rex. I think about how he bites.
Yeah, but his name is Rock Stomp, so that's what they had in mind.
Yeah, but he's based on a T-Rex, which is not a dinosaur that stomps people to death.
Okay, T-Rex
Really?
also isn't made of rocks and industrial.
Okay, this is way off subject.
Point is,
Blipsqueak is whack.
Blipsqueak is cool, and it doesn't do jack in the song, but it doesn't need to do jack in the song. And also, they really make it useful in the official soundtrack.
Yeah. And you know what's another monster that doesn't do jack, but also kind of does jack?
Argo.
Scargo.
Also, one of the split in the communities in terms of if you like it or if you hate it.
Yeah.
I love Scargo.
I
I do
also
too.
love Scargo.
I think Scargo's great, but you know, Scargo's great. I think he would be better if he played less.
Excuse me.
Like, here's the thing. People, this is one of those rare scenarios where doing the minimal is the OP thing to do. Because what Scargo does is, what he does is he plays 4 times in the verse. But also, I think it would be a lot, like for me, it just like, it's a perfect, like, way to like make the verse feel important and have texture in it. If what happens is like, because he plays in the final Dermot verse, right?
Yeah.
And the verse is going on, and then the perfect accents to build up for the second half of the verse is the 2 crashes. And then if they then it's like bum 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 bum, it's playing, and then it's like making the second half of the verse, even though it's so small, being important and having more stuff coming in, and it's all OP. And if you wanted, you could even throw a 3rd crash at the end to transition into the next verse, and then it's OP OP OP.
Nah, you gotta do what Scargo was originally doing in the original soundtrack where he was a reverse symbol.
Oh, he didn't even play in the original soundtrack.
Yeah, I know, but there was the reverse symbol, and so people were like, bro, Scargo was supposed to be a reverse symbol.
Now, here's the thing: you gotta do what they did in you gotta do it in the trailer. Because he wasn't
Was
in
he
the
not
trailer.
in the trailer?
Yeah, 'cause it didn't play his verse.
There's just not a lot to say about Scargo.
All you can talk about Scargo is his design. We haven't talked about that yet, so let's talk about that.
Its design is funny.
I like the colors.
But its design is also kind of gross because he kind of looks like he's always wheezing. He's just like...
Let my man have asthma. What?
Yeah.
What?
He's no, I like how he's like constantly patting the ground.
Yeah,
I like that too. It's cute. He's like a little happy puppy.
Yeah, and then before he plays, he holds his cheeks.
Oh, puppy.
Looking both. I really love though what they did with his design, like with the eye stalks being the symbols, and then like the part, like the outside of the symbol, which is like where you connect the symbol to the stand, is just where his eyes are, and it's super awkward, but in a funny way.
It's so his animation is so awfully like disgusting because he crashes the symbols and then his whole body just goes berserk in like a twitch mode while his eyes are just going everywhere.
Okay, here's the thing. Scargo should have been a 2x3.
Yo, that'd be OP.
Well, the first monster that's just not a square.
To be fair,
That'd be so OP. I'd love that.
he's not the only one that should be 2x3. Cause like
Cool.
Snazer.
But Scargo came first.
Touche. Oh yeah. No.
Scargo's
I lost one.
great.
I like Scargo too.
I like its name,
I do too.
Just scarred.
Scargo, because escargot, but he's also scary.
Yeah.
Ah.
He's Scargo.
Shut up.
Oh, okay. Now, you know, the best part about all these Wublins, because so far we've talking about the 14 original Wublins now, and the best part is for almost every single one, we've described them in one way or another as completely disgusting. But that's a good thing. That's what Wublin Island's going for, and they do it amazing. It's just the disgusting, but you're like, bro, I love this disgusting because that's what Wublin supposed to be.
It's like aesthetically pleasing disgusting in a way.
Well, yeah,
Where
they're
it's-
disgusting because sorry,
Yeah.
Pommy. They're disgusting because the thing that made them was fucking Wubox. And I don't think
Yeah.
Wubox has the best artistic integrity.
Yeah, Roblox like really
That's just
doesn't.
the name of the island.
Literally, Wublins destroy the philosophy that people have that ugly monsters are bad, ugly designs are bad designs, because that's the thing that's thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
I don't. Wublin Island's aesthetic is just perfect.
It's something I live for.
It's a wondrous chill.
It's kind of lonely though.
But you know, do what you will. Oh, what? Okay.
Now, here's the thing. See, you know, we said that we're talking about all of them in release order, and we are, but we're also going to talk about them in order in which they should have released. So, we're going to skip over a certain 5, and we're going to cut straight to the chase, because in the code, he's the 15th. He's coded as the 15th Wublin, so we're going to put him here. We're talking about Wubbox.
I like
Really good island
Roblox.
for Wubox.
Yeah, this is one of Wubox's best islands.
Isn't
and
is his animation still broken on the island?
No,
I
they
don't know.
it
Alright. And
was for like
Yeah.
a year.
Interesting how Wubox is a little subdued. Like, he's a lot more calm on the island.
Yeah, because
Bro,
it's
he looks
Wubox.
like
He's
he's
supposed
literally-
to not be the worst thing ever.
It's
yeah.
Wubbox. Here's the thing: the reason that Wubbox doesn't work on most islands is because he was like kind of opposed to that. They're like, bro, what if we added dubstep? And that's not a good idea ever. But with Wublin Island, this is literally Wubbox's island. Everything else is disgusting, and Wubbox is disgusting, so he fits along right perfectly.
I like when he's doing his playing animation and he winks.
Yeah.
he-
Wubbox has gotten an OP animation on this island.
Yeah. Like how they play, it's kind of cool. And how
It's
they animate it.
Almost like the simple Wuboxes are the best ones.
Wow.
Woohoo!
So it isn't even that simple though. Like he's got a lot going on. It's just like the right way of having a lot going on because it's just dun, 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 and it's got like just a bunch of sounds and they're all really fun and cool.
Yeah. And the verses he plays in are the ones that have the minimalistic, like the least amount of percussion, because the first time he plays, it's only tempo playing. And then,
Bro,
oh yeah, also Creepy School, I guess.
yeah. And then here's the thing. Wubbox Wubbox do it and pretty good with Screamo, honestly.
Yes.
Like people don't notice it, but then you listen to the soundtrack and it's super OP because what happens is first Screamo is only doing one of his voices, and then afterwards Wubbox and his second voice come in, and it's the most OP thing in all of it.
The soundtrack.
Soundtrack Wublin Island is so good. god.
I love Wublin Island.
Yeah, Wublox. Yeah, that's Wublox. Why do we keep saying Wublox? Wublox is like the best way to end the island. I think Wublin Island 10 out of 10, best island in the game. No need to go forward, guys. Honestly.
Hold up.
It literally ends the island though, because he plays in the final verse.
Yeah.
I think this is like the one and only time where you can say honestly, I love Wublin so much, and it's like, yeah, you're right, you do love Wublin. He's OP.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, yeah, I think that'll be okay. I think it's time that we discuss the full song now, right?
Hold up. I think Wublin Island's pretty good, but I don't think we should end it off just yet. I think, let's add 5 more Wublins.
I don't think that's a good idea.
No, hold up. Hear me out. It'll milk the island so we get more popularity, more money, and we'll make them super OP in design and sound-wise to the point where people will have to love them, or else it'll lose popularity. So let's make these super complicated.
Ryan.
I don't. Okay, question then.
You
No,
can
what are
he's
we
got
gonna
a point.
do?
He's got a point.
Okay, here's my question though. What are we gonna do with Wublin where we have completely finished its sound and animation?
We'll just milk it all the way till anniversary month.
Yeah, just like put it off to the side.
Wait, okay, here's the thing. Didn't you say that there was gonna be only 5 new ones? What about the other 3 months for anniversary? We've been releasing monsters once a month.
We'll just have a huge break so people have to wait more.
Sounds good to me.
You know what?
So,
That sounds like a great plan, Ryan. But I don't think OP can be used to describe Astropod's sound.
No, here's the thing. It absolutely is. It's overpowered in the fact that it literally ruins everything.
Astropod is, in my opinion, the worst Wublin.
I don't want to talk about Astropod.
I was like criticizing every Wublin in terms of like, oh, what does it do to the song? I purposefully made a test. I went into my MSM game and turned off the Pointless 5 and see who made the biggest difference in order to make the song from bad to amazing. Astropod, literally, when you mute him, he turns the song from a 2 out of 10 to a 6.
I know. See, here's the thing. The problem with Astropod is that he is literally the most nothing sound ever. He's so nothing. Like he don't got the right to have notes. He doesn't have notes. All he has is sound. And then it's like, bro. And then the worst part is that like they made it go. He's in the intro. He doesn't need to be there. Nothing needs to be there. He's in there anyway. And it's like, oh, bro, this is awful. I'm gonna meet him. Then like, but then it ruins it in general because you're like, bro, I'm used to hearing Astropod. This sounds weird now.
You know what's the worst?
The most unfitting thing ever. What?
I think Astropod unfits there, but I think Astropod is way more unfitting in the first Dermot verse, where for some reason he plays again.
I don't even notice at that point.
Yeah, that's when I just go to
I didn't notice it, but I saw his animation playing his playing animation, and then I was like, wait a minute, why does Astropod play in the Dermot verse?
You know something that's another thing about Astropod? It's like the entire theme of the island is like electro swing jazz, you know? And the idea of it just being like a cool arpeggiated synth, that's perfect for the island. They could have done a lot with it. Like, they didn't need to do the 5, but if they wanted to do 5, Astropod could have easily been really, really good.
Yeah, look at the batch.
And then his design too. I love his design.
Okay,
Astropod
his design's awesome.
I like
amazing.
it. I don't.
He's a sea slug.
Yeah.
He's a sea slug. That's so amazing.
He's got 2 giant clunker arms and then 2 tiddly dink arms.
I love just the aesthetic of just giant arms with their fingers that curl up behind the hand. Though I love the way those look, and they look perfect on Astropod. Astropod's so great design-wise. And then he's got like the really cool thing with the electricity flowing between his 2 antlers.
Yeah.
and then have to bro. What if instead of having it be Stog 2, which would be a good thing because Stog's OP, instead it's just bro. What if he was literally nothing?
He's so bad sound wise. Ugh. Listen, at least Astropod has got the design going for him because he fits the theme of Wublin Island. He's a big, gross monster.
Okay, here's the thing though. You know what happened? Okay, so Scargo came out in December. Okay, and then the end of January came, and they're like, "Oh my god, is it gonna be Wallace? Who's gonna be it?" And then they posted the teaser, and it was like they didn't post the teaser, but what they said they posted this like picture. It's like, "Bro, it's Wallace's workshop," and it had like small hints to what's attached by the design. And they're like, "Bro, Wallace's workshop, Wallace is coming," and then an entire month passed and they didn't add anything. And then February came and they revealed, yes, the new Wublin Astropod. So we had to wait 2 months instead of only 1 month. And then it was teased as if it was going to be Wobbox. And then it was Astropod. Like, his name is very definitive what he is.
Or just Astropod.
I
Just-
first thought it was
you know,
something about like isopod, and then yeah,
No, because it's
But
just
I don't think
Gastropod
so.
without the G.
yeah.
Now, here's the thing. The name is Gastropod without the G, but his design, but his sound is Astropod without the tropod.
Say
I also like
astropod
the
without the
pun
tropod.
because he's Astro, because he's got like the whole early 80s synthy vibe to it, and that's
He's Astro MSM.
Yeah, dude. Remember what I was saying about the fact that Astropod at least matched the theme of Wublin Island by being a gross, disgusting giant monster?
Yeah.
It's more you could say it's more than you can say for Pixelotl.
Why do people like this monster dog? Why do people like this monster dog?
His design is cool, even though it's not a Wublin design at all.
It's
Dog.
more of a
Come on, have
design.
you read his bio? He's pickly, just like Mario.
He's
Pixelotl
He's
looks like
Mario.
he should have been to Dawn of Fire so it could go to Party Island.
dude.
Yeah,
Speaking
another thing with-
of Party Island,
Dude.
I don't know.
Bro, fuck. Its
Pixelotl
sound.
plays way too often.
People were like, yes, Pixelotl is the best monster ever. Look how it stole the melody from fucking Waji, and it's now doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah, amazing. No, it's not.
Okay,
It's
here's the
not.
thing. You know something that's even better about Pixelotl?
What?
Okay, remove the duh. Its sound is literally just the same five notes playing over and over again. Just da 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 da. It's just Dandity on Cloud Island.
It's very repetitive.
Very.
People thought it was good for some reason.
Sound is cool, but that doesn't matter. The sound itself is not that good. It plays too often. It's not needed in the song, and the design is just okay.
Not a Wublin.
Not even like okay. But that beside, I gotta say, no offense to BB on this one, but they kind of dropped the ball and have no idea how to draw a handstand, because that's not how it looks. It doesn't look. It looks like they drew like his arms and then his head, and then they completely forgot about his body and drew a sail. Like, oh wait, how do we connect this? Like, yeah, well, he was like, and it's like they just went into sport and completely adjusted the spine to be vertical. And just, bro, if you tried to undo that, it wouldn't even work.
Pixelotl is my personal least favorite Wublin.
Yeah, that's valid. I don't like Pixelotl because I like axolotls. They're cool and all, but I just don't They could have made it better.
I mean, it's
Hard
a
to
cool idea.
explain.
Pixelized
Yeah,
axolotl that plays a 8-bit sounding
thing-
kind of synth.
thing-
but I don't think it fits
It
on that
just should have been used in
island.
something
also,
else.
here's another thing.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. We already have an axolotl Wublin. We have Dermot. Why do we need Pixelotl?
Oh,
Even down to Pixelottle's name is so blah. Pixelotl sounds like it sounds like what they were gonna do with Fangler. It's like, oh bro, auto tuna. Nah, that's too uncreative. We just gotta make that a nickname. Pixelotl sounds like it should have been a nickname.
yeah. Ugh, I don't understand why everyone likes Pixelotl. I really can't see any reason why you would want this thing.
Because he's so cute.
And it does not fit design-wise at all.
and his sound is so good.
Guys,
Oh, listen, the community already hates us. What's next? How can
No,
we
no.
make the community
Alright.
even more?
remember back when everyone used to make those videos called Bon Appetit Goes With Everything? Isn't it ironic how Bon Appetit goes with every song except for Wublin Island?
Yeah.
I'm drained.
It's like Bon Appetit's like, I'm born in the wrong generation, but I'm born in the wrong song.
Yeah.
Petite is
Listen,
bro.
we
I
talk
used to
about
is
like-
lost
Wublin.
potential.
We talk about Wublin Island a lot. It's one of our favorite islands to talk about. And every single time we talk about it, we pretty much unanimously agree that Bon Appetit is one of the largest contributing factors for the downfall of Wublin Island. And into
And
what makes it unlistenable.
Yeah, because it's just bass boost.
I used to like Bon Appetit like forever ago, but then I realized it isn't that great. So I just stopped liking it, and then everyone else started liking it. I was like, oh,
Dude,
got it.
Bon
Like,
Appetit
it's good to
pisses
like
me.
Bon Appetit. Because Bon Appetit's sound on its own is good. And it's got a really cool design that I've got some graphics that I'll go with later, but it's got a lot going for it. It's a great monster. Not work at all in any way in the song. It's too much going on for no reason.
The biggest mistake of Wublin Island is having Bon Appetit and drumroll play at the same time.
No, the biggest mistake on Wublin Island is having Bon Appetit.
Alright, fair enough. Dude, Bon Appetit also makes the first, like, pseudo first verse, since it's kind of like the first verse before the first verse, just, like, really unlistenable, since you got Bon Appetit and Astropod playing at the same time.
Dude,
I
literally.
hate that. That verse is literally, I hate it now. It's so bad because that verse is literally like, it's like okay, imagine if you took a song, you made a beautiful song with a beautiful intro, and you said, "Hey, wouldn't it be funny if I had 8 seconds of static white noise first, and then made the verse?" No, I mean that's funny, but also I hate that. I'm gonna skip over it every time, but you can't because it's in game. So then I skip over it to mute all the monsters in that verse and ruin the rest of the song. Or mute Bon Appetit. Which is a better option.
Remember when I got Bon Appetit and I was like, oh yes, this monster is very swell. Then I went onto a different island, went onto Wublin Island again, and then I heard the intro and it's just I'm like, whoa, what is happening? Why does this sound like shit?
Dude, it pisses me off because there's so much effort that went into the monster. Its design is really endearing, and its animation is really clever, like how it stomps and it slides its jaw to make the freaking slide, whatever it's called, noise.
Shaker.
Yeah, the shaker.
Paper.
It's such an interesting monster, purely on an artistic standpoint. And then its sound is just...
Bro, gonna be honest though, I love its design, but also it feels like it's kind of disappointing because we have so many symbiotic monsters at this point. It's really overdone, And with Wublin Island darker themes, when I saw its statue, I really thought that it was going to be Petite is for Petite. I thought Petite was going to be a parasite, and I thought it was a really cool idea. Wasn't it? Was like, bro, they're best friends. We've never done that before.
Because
Nah, dude, it's
Emma
'cause
Stone
it's
can't be
pregnant.
violent.
Listen, Bon Appetit is pretty cool on its own, isolated from the island. Or it used to be, but the community has pretty much ruined Bon Appetit for me.
It's
Really?
overrated monster of the community.
It is
Honestly.
so overrated, and I hate what people do with it so much. It just
thing
makes
is-
me so angry.
I may or may have not helped with that by being interested in the monster in general.
I forgive you.
I mean, that's the point of the monster's existence, is to be interesting, because that's part of the Pointless Five.
Get down.
No.
Get down.
Get down and focus.
No.
Come
I don't know
on.
if you guys heard, but I was just saying
Oh,
it
I
really
heard.
quickly and slowly getting louder and louder in the background.
Dude,
I
okay.
did.
I
And
feel
was like,
so
"Oh,
bad
no."
for Mulch, dude. I feel so bad for Mulch.
Bro.
Mulch deserves better.
Yeah, we need to put him on a fan-made island.
Get
No, screw that. We need to put him in
down.
Dawn of Fire.
Yeah, and he goes to Cave Island.
No, What they're gonna do is they're gonna put dipsters. And what you have to do is you have to merge dipsters and then you get malt.
Yeah, you just-
no, Mulch
And
is
that
the
was the
celestial
entire
of
joke with
dipsters.
mulch. Thank you.
Mulch's
Yeah.
lips are bananas.
What do you mean they're kissable
They're bananas.
and kissable?
Honestly, just 100% part of the Pointless Five. He's part of the Furious Five. He's got lots of issues going on with him, and a lot of people hate him. But I'm gonna be honest. I personally like Mulch. I don't like on his own. His design is stupid because he's just like a big pile of poop. But also, it's funny, dude. I like his vocal a lot.
I like his
Yeah.
voice a lot. It just doesn't
Yeah.
really fit well in the song. I know my brother really likes Mulch.
I like
Mulch is
mulch
so funny.
because I really like the leaf.
He's
Like-
definitely the best of the Pointless
Right.
Five.
No, honestly, here's the thing. At the end of the day, Mulch has to not exist for it to not work. But if Brump didn't exist, Mulch would. Okay. If Brump only sang in the intro, which he can because he's the intro, because he's not the intro monster, that'd be undoing Brump. But if Brump didn't play in the later verses and Mulch was the one who duetted with Dermot, that could be potentially funny and OP. But at the end of the day, it's just three's the crowd, so it messes it up.
Yeah.
And that's just the problem. Like they wanted to they wanted to re-grab everyone's attention and be like, bro, we're gonna bring this stuff back. You guys had Dermot and Brump. What about Mulch too? They'll be the perfect trio, and it just doesn't work out.
The thing that destroys Mulch in terms of what it does to the song is it tried to invalidate Waji. And that's the thing that sucks about it.
Yeah.
It did not need to go in that verse at all.
It shouldn't be in that verse to this day. I don't understand why. They hyped Wajay up so much and they made it sound so important, and then they were like, hey, guess what? We're gonna cover this thing up and it's just not gonna do anything now.
Yeah, Mulch literally, it's like they're like, bro, it's gonna be the trifecta, and then afterwards they don't even put him with the trifecta.
The thing that here's where things start to get really fucking bad with Wublin Island, because with the Pointless Five, you have Astropod. He ruined the intro, so now that's one part of the song that's ruined. Then you have Pixelotl. Wow, he ruined the Waji verse. That part is now ruined. Then you have Bon Appetit. Wow, he ruined everything, so now the song's ruined. And then you have Mulch. Wow, he ruined the one part of the song that was the least ruined, so now the whole song is just shit.
And then the best part is literally, like all four of those monsters all play in the outro.
Oh, ugh.
Wait, what? Astropod doesn't play in the outro, does he?
No, we didn't. Oh, I forgot. I didn't even realize Ryan talked about Astropod because Astropod is so pointless. I forgot about Astropod. No, okay, but like Astropod like wouldn't even be that bad because he's just background, right?
Yeah.
But it's background. But like all of the big awful monsters because they're too loud and stuff, they all play in the outro.
Ugh.
Ugh.
The outro is just Thwack, Drumroll, Timpa, Screamoo, Poke, Waja, Wabox, and then they added Pixelotl, Bon Appetit, and Mulch.
That's so much stuff. You know, to end this video, like the monsters on like at least a serviceable note. Fleechworm doesn't really do anything, which means it's not damaging at least.
Here's the thing with Fleechworm. It's just the nail in the coffin. Because it's like the coffin has been closed. They put a pile of rocks on it, and they're like, we're just gonna put a cherry on top. That's a spoiled cherry, but it's just closing everything up as just one final middle finger.
It's so sad. We talk about all this amazing stuff at the beginning, and then now we get here. It's just the fucking banana rotting.
Okay, honestly, with Fleechworm doing so little and being so bad, is he even worth talking about? I don't think he is. I think we can just go right to talking about everything else now.
I mean, a lot of people actually kind of like Fleechworm, which is surprising because when it came out, people hated him. But I revisited all of the Wublin videos and read the comments to see people's current perception of them. And a lot of people were like, bro, Fleechworm is kind of cool. I like Fleechworm.
Okay then. I guess we gotta ruin these children's dream. Fleechworm sucks a lot. He's a loop, and he's the bad kind of loop, and his design sucks because it makes no sense. Because here's the thing, they tease him. It's like, bro, it's this cool snake thing. JK, it's a worm, and people are like, oh my god, that's why do you hate that? What do you mean? It shouldn't be the snake. It has to be the worm. That's clever. You get it? It's like one of those animals that uses that for self-defense. Like self-defense against what? Wabox made this monster. It doesn't need that.
He's a self-defense against all of the people who want to kill it for sucking so much.
It's like if you said, just like, bro, it makes no sense whatsoever. It'd be like if there was a monster that specifically evolved to do something that could work out, but these monsters literally didn't evolve. When Fleechworm came out, he was born yesterday. Wabox literally just made Fleechworm, and that's what happened.
Ugh.
Fleechworm's garbage in every way. I don't think a lot of people give him like credit. I don't think he deserves any credit. He is. I think the only you can make arguments for all of them being the worst of the five, and except for Mulch, but even then you could. But you can make arguments for all of them being the worst of the five. But I don't think you can really make much of an argument for Fleechworm being the best of the five. They butchered him in every single way possible. Even his loop. Here's the thing: if you notice, loops aren't that bad when they're percussion loops. When it's a melody, it doesn't work.
Isn't
Yeah,
Astropod's also a
it
loop?
doesn't really fit good with the song.
Yeah, because you gotta compose a melody, and when it's literally the last sound you add to the song, it's really hard to find something that works. So you gotta get something so generic and general and stupid that it's just some random loop that's used as a sound effect in 3D Mobile Quest XC4.
Alright. So, it took us a long time to talk about every Wublin. There was a lot to unpack. It's such a big island to talk about. It may not have the most monsters, but it's just such a hurdle to go over everything. And now we gotta talk about the song as a whole.
Yikes. I really wish we could just say, oh yes, let's talk about 2 variations of the song before the suckage and after the suckage, but no, we just gotta talk about the suckage.
Yeah. If it was before the suckage, it'd be like probably the best island we've done so far.
Well, absolutely.
And now it's one of the worst islands we've done so far.
Okay, Seth, what do you mean probably the best? We got Plant, Cold, and Firehaven. It would have been the best island we've done so far, and it would be the best island we do in a long time.
Yeah.
Wublin Island before the suckage is like arguably the best island in the game. I don't think it is, but it was arguably.
You could make an argument for it, yeah. And
Um,
now, the Useless 5 just completely destroyed it.
I will stand by this till the day I die, but Wublin Island is okay, and Cold. Those 2 islands are the only unlistenable islands in the entirety of MSN.
Yeah. There are other bad islands, but the only thing that makes them bad is either the fact that they're boring or just nothing special. But these 2 just have actual terrible composition.
The thing that makes Wublin Island so depressing is that it used to be amazing, and it was like the perfect idea, and if it would have just ended greatly, it would have been one of the best things in MSM history. But nah, bro, we gotta milk this shit to the end of the earth. And so now it's just like watching a puppy getting old and like not being able to do things.
Yeah, like everything. That's like the worst part is like for modern players or players who came in later. Like even Ryan is an example.
Ryan
Like
came in on
they would
Stardust.
Wublin Island. Like Ryan tries his best to love Wublin Island. It's hard because he's never had a time where the pointless 5 don't exist. All of his time playing MSM with Wublin Island has been like right when Astropod came out.
Yeah.
I don't have a history with it, but I can see why people were so in love with it when it came out.
Dude,
It's like
it's so...
you can understand why, but if you can't see it yourself, just because it's the track history just ruined.
It was before my time.
For few. They anti-future proofed it.
Yeah.
What were you saying? Sorry.
I was just gonna segue into if you could rate it out of 10, what would you give it?
1.
Ooh, okay, wait. Oof. Uh,
4?
I'll give it a 4.
Wait. You have to give it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh god.
What?
Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Gotta give it a 5 for the 5 original.
Ugh.
Yeah, we gotta give it a 15.
Actually, I'll give it a 3.
15.
Alright.
I'm gonna give it a 3.
I'm gonna give it a 4.
I honestly give it a 4 too. Yeah, 4
4,
2. Yeah,
4,
2.
3, 1.
Mostly just because, again, conceptually and for 75% of the monsters, it's my favorite island in the entire game. And I'm a little kind of high-key biased towards it.
I understand the reason why you would be.
Yeah.
I just was never there to see it.
This has been so exhausting. Anything
Okay,
you want to say?
3.3.
3.3?
That means just above Cold.
Alright. Anything else you want to say before we end things off?
Dipsters are fucking ass.
You know what? That works. Dipsters are fucking ass.